Dear friends. Oops. Shaky cam. Dear friends. You see what's going on here. Dear friends. Join in on the fun. Yoo-hoo. Hey there. You see what we've got here? It's a Magnum 44 twin cat. We get to see it from a cool view today. Got him elevated up. It's a Magnum 44, all right, but this one's really special. The first indication that it's a special one is you see these silver water outlets. They're usually blue on all of them. But I changed this one to silver water outlets because I did this boat different than any of the other tarantulas. This one's going to be called the Black Widow. Check this out. Instead of all the blue ESCs, it's got all black Castle ESCs. All black water lines, all black everything. Much different than I usually do. Everything's usually really colorful. Now check out this servo. Even black screws. I'm not quite done. I still have to dust off these hoses a little bit, but check this out, gentlemen. This customer's going to be really happy. I blacked it out. For lack of a better term, I murdered it out in here. Yeah, I'm going to let this rigging speak for itself. Tarantula. That is a beautiful loom. This customer is going to be very, very, very stoked. I made as many things black as I could. Zip ties are black. I went black zip ties today. I even put black pivots. I really like that steering setup though. black boots. The steering setup sure is trick. Yeah, it is expensive. I'm not going to deny this one is not cheap. And this customer was very good. This customer was just like, you know what, let it rip. He saw a few of these videos and he saw a few of these magnums go out, and he said, he complimented me real well. He said, I like your attention to detail. Do me one. And he wasn't tripping or trying to bargain or anything like that. And people like that, they get the best of me because I can tell who's going to be a problem and who's not. And this guy's not going to be a problem. This guy's just a loyal customer and very respectful. And these are the type of people I bend over backwards for. I bend over backwards for pretty much everyone, you know what I mean? But some people are an exception. And he made the exception right where it counts. I like how this servo mount is also a hull brace. That's rad. It's also a hull brace, and it's all carbon fiber. Full carbon. So rad. Made a little pedestal that the switches sit on. Clean things up. I'll take some other glam shots for the guys that just joined on. This is the Scorpion Black Widow edition. It's different than what I usually do, you know what I'm saying? Everything's usually real colorful. This is the exception. Black is beautiful. Look at that. That is rad. It's not completely done. I still got some flower arranging to do in here, you know what I mean? But this is hot. When I look at it with you guys, this is hot. This is way hot. If I could have these red wires black out too, I would. I might even put sheaths over them. But it's not good to put any extra insulation on power wires. In our case, we can because our stuff doesn't run hot like that. But you don't want to insulate. I don't want to make some heat insulator shields, and that's what a lot of these guys are doing, man. Like I see stuff on Facebook, like some of these. When I started my company, there weren't really any. There was Pro Marine and some others, but now everybody wants to be this Marine, that Marine. You know what I mean? And I see the stuff they're doing and the boats they're building, all this extra little nonsense. And I know the truth, you know what I mean? Like, you don't need it. It's unnecessary. They're doing it, and it's just funny. But anyway, this is how Oxidean does it. And I'm running this thing censored. See that sensor cable going from the motors to the ESCs? That is rad. Sensors give you way better drivability. And Castle, like, it'll run censored up to a certain point, but then when it gets to a certain RPM, it forgets the sensors, and then timing advance kicks in. However dynamic you want it. But this setup, he doesn't need any timing advance. He's got 1650 kV 1520s in here. He's going to run them on 8S. This thing's going to scream for him. Hard, with a lot of torque. And this hull is super thick. Sounds like somebody's knocking at the door. Who is it? Oxidean Marine. Yeah, this thing is all silver and blacked out. Look at that steering. Check it out. I mean, I'm not completely done with it, but it's getting there. The stress nuts. Ah. Struts. I'll drive excellence. Yeah, we aren't goofing around. I'm gonna put the lid back on and give you guys some of these glam shots too. It looks good like this. I like that. I like that. Oh wait, I forgot I can back it off. Yeah. That looks pretty. Oh yeah, let's get under it. I want to show you guys this view. Feels like we're underneath an offshore powerboat. Dun, dun. I wish I had a second light. You know what? I actually can grab my second light. Right here. I'll put my headlamp. Batteries are kind of low, but they'll give us a little more light underneath this thing. Unless I left it on. No, I didn't. There we go. My headlamp. I just heard myself heavy breathing. Into heavy breathe into the video like that, guys. Step by step, day by day. Now I want to let you guys see the out drive area a little better with some light. Heavy layup. We are not goofing around with anyone. Let's get back up here. Magnum 44. 44 inches of pure pleasure. Now let's get back up in here. Let's get back up in here. Get back up on my high horse. Wait. Put my headlamp on so I can direct its beam while I'm doing the video. Hold on one second, guys. I'll just tighten my headlamp strap. There it goes. Life of a YouTube producer. I'm just kidding. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Getting some light. Yeah. This is the way, though. This is the way. I didn't go out and do any parties or any fun or any picnics this 4th of July. I stayed in and worked on customers' boats. And I was very happy to do that. Very pleased to do that. I stayed and worked on people's boats and did customer service. There were people calling me that wanted to calibrate boats and do things, and I just dedicated my day to them. Oh, the steering seals? Oh, we've got pedestals in there. I wish you could see them. Let's see. In there, you see that red thing in there? That's a that's a pedestal that holds the steering cable. And that's the same pedestal we use for our water pickups. Let's see. Hey, thanks, Cyclone. Thanks, Lily. Thanks, Cullen. Thanks, Jonathan. Yeah, this thing's rad, bro. This thing's nicer than my personal. But, I've done all these, I've done about four of these tarantulas. This one's called the Black Widow because it's just blacked out, just straight murdered out. But I'm going to go back and do mine after. Let's see how we do mine. Mine will probably look all rainbow brightish because I always do all kinds of colors. But this is turning me on, though. This all black thing, it looks good. I don't have anything like that. And me personally, I can turn these wires black because I used to do that with my RC cars. I know what I'm doing. I'm not going to cross anything. That'd be rad to have this all black and white in chrome or silver. That'd be sick. That'd be tough. Well, while I've got you guys, well, I've got my homeboys here. How about we take a look at this thing over here, huh? Hell yeah. Dun. Unfortunately, we had a little engine damage last run. That's right. I got to pull the motor, turn it over, and take the oil pan off and check things out. But I'm going to be documenting that on video because it's the neatest thing ever, because this thing is a miniature V8 engine. I mean, there's a lot of engine build videos out there with these mini V8s and different things, but I'll make sure to bring it to you guys a little different, live and direct. I just cannot believe how well everything's functioning, the time that I've taken with it. It's just tuning this engine's a bit challenging, and it's not just tuning it, it's tuning it to my liking. You know what I mean? It's getting better. If you'll look, that pipe that was all silver isn't all silver anymore. It's getting heated, it's getting cooked, it's getting baked. So we made yeah, it is. It's expensive. It's real expensive. That's why ain't nobody got one. Except me. Not like this. No one's got one this sick, dude. No way. Not with a $1,500 paint job on it. They certainly don't. And a $6,500 motor, they certainly do not. They don't have one with a rail kit and braided hoses. Not with the real corner blocks that look like a real rail kit. They don't have that. Me and Randy Naylor rigged the shit out of this. That rail kit, Randy helped me with the rail kit. Randy machined those blocks. I am going to give credit where credit is due on those. And I just had to configure things, man. Like these right here were the water ports, right? This is where the water in and outlets were, and there was no other way to mount this motor that was a realistic way than to. I figured out that the motor mounts were on the sides. See where that hose is going in? Those were actually motor mounts on both sides, right? And no one even told me this, but I pulled them out and I realized they ported right into the water jackets. So I switched the water ports from the front here. It did my water porting in and out here and here. But one thing that I have noticed is it it concentrates the heat different. It dissipates heat different, but it seems like it cools it a lot better for some reason because the engine runs really cool. It ran really hot last time, but it typically runs pretty doggone cool. But there's a lot of things like most people don't understand. Like I'm running this thing off of the front of the crank, off the snout. It's usually supposed to be running off back there where the clutch is. I'm running it off the front. So this thing's got some challenges. There's no clutch whatsoever. This thing's direct drive. So when it hits the water, it's hitting the water running. Snap. A lot of people have changed the starter motor, and for some reason, I'm having really good luck with this original starter motor. I believe it's because of my knowledge of brush motors and my using this old school Novak ESC for it. So instead of a relay, I'm just using an ESC. When I hit the switch on my radio, it gives the ESC just full blast. And I love it. I mean, this thing, you guys have heard how this thing starts. Boom. Starts like a champ. You know what I mean? And I love this whole project because it took some engineering. It took years of knowledge of uh, of how this stuff works to make this work the way it's working. You know what I mean? It like I love the puke tank. A lot of people, like little parts of it just fascinate me because I don't know what to expect from this little engine. You know what I mean? I know what my imagination wants, and some of the things that my imagination dream up, this thing does it. Like I wanted the oil crankcase to pressurize and put the byproduct oil into the tank, and it does. It does it on its own, and I bet you there's a little bit of oil at the bottom of the a little bit of oil at the bottom of the pan right now. But I bet you if I was to take that hose off right now, which I'm gonna have to anyway, if I was to take that hose off right now, all kinds of oil would come out of here, and it'll show you guys just how well this puke tank is working. In fact, I'm going to do it. Come on off. There it goes. Now watch this. Oh, I gotta take the cap off of the vent. See? Look at all the oil coming out of there. Because the puke tank worked. It caught that oil. It'll keep coming. Yeah, but I like that. I like that a lot. In fact, dude, talk about a scale project. This thing's totally scale. This thing's rad. I love working on it. It feels like I'm working on a miniature full size boat in my living room. It's so fun, dude. This thing is so fun. I really thank Scott Steele for commissioning me to do this. Like, and Tony Scarlotta for putting me in touch with Scott Steele. That is the raddest things ever, man. My boating career has brought me to the awesomest places, man. Like some of the awesomest circle boat racers that ever lived are my homeboys. You know what I'm saying? Scott Steele, Tony Scarlotta. Tony Scarlotta's right now. I mean, I don't have to explain who he is, man. He's the fastest flat bottom drag boat racer in the world. You know what I mean? He's the guy you see on TV. When you see Lucas Oil Drag Boat Racing Series, the mascot boat that they use is his boat. And as a matter of fact, as I'm talking about this guy, shout out to Tony Scarlatta, today's his birthday. Hell yeah. I'm sure he's having a great time and eating real good, man. I hope he's staying cool up there, having fun in the sun, man. It's hot all over the country right now. Are you guys in a bunch of heat? California sure is having a lot of heat. A lot of heat. But where I'm at is not super hot because we're on the beach. But yeah, let's get back to the Magnum. And I really appreciate you guys for hanging out with me this evening. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. You'll get all videos like this of the cool guy stuff firsthand. Like right now. Like right now. Check this out, man. Clean. High tech. And I mean it, high tech. So, high tech, when I first started racing back in the day, back in probably like 19. Yeah, I'm serious. But around 98 or 99, High Tech was my first sponsor. And that was because of Randy Naylor. I used to work for Randy Naylor at his RC boat factory. And that's how I learned so much about boats. Randy Naylor, I will never deny, Randy Naylor taught me about boats. He taught me about race boats. My dad taught me about boats in general, but as far as performance and speed boats, Randy taught me how this stuff works. And I volunteered in his, well, I worked, but I wasn't getting a gigantic paycheck or anything. I worked in his factory and he taught me everything. So when I started racing, I had it. He gave it to me the hard way. So when I would get a kit, it was a box of materials. It was the box of materials to construct everything. Okay, like my first one, the hardware was built and everything already, but the hull was in two parts: the top deck and the bottom, and it was rough. Like I had to cut the hull out. It was an ABS hull. I had to cut it out of a sheet, and then sand it all uniform all the way around. Cut the bottom out, sand it all uniform, fit them together, and make sure everything fit right. Then join the boat. But my first boat that I built, I came up with a technique. I said, you know what? I don't trust once the deck's on and I'm going into this little hatch. While the deck was off, I set everything up and set up everything, all the hardware up on the transom and everything, so I could see it right there on the transom because the deck wasn't even on. I could just see the flat transom and my screws and everything. And that was the first boat that I really had built. And then after that, Randy said, you're sponsored, but you have to make all your parts. So all my hardware, I had to go in there and make all of my hardware. Like if I wanted a strut, I didn't just get handed a strut. I got handed a piece of aluminum tubing and said, go hit the lathe. And I learned on a lathe how to make the cylindrical, but also to go in. And I've been using ball bearing struts for 20 years because Randy taught me taught me about ball bearing struts. And I'd go in with the on the lathe, go in and stop like there, and my bearings would sleeve in there and seat in there. And if I needed to make a rudder, I had to make my own rudders. If I needed to make a motor mount, everything. So my first years of racing, I constructed all of my own hardware. And that's when I started breaking records, is because I worked in the boat factory and I made everybody's part. Not everybody used Randy's parts, but a lot of top racers did. And what I did when I made my parts, I made them lighter because I knew what the weight of everybody else's was. So I just started out modifying things and making things as light as I could and just constantly getting so into it because I had access to a full machine shop and I had access to RC Boat Factory basically. Then as I got better and better, Randy started kicking me down harder and harder. Started giving me more and more boats as I progressed. And basically being sponsored by Randy, I had access to any and every type of boat. And Randy's a master of riggers. And I remember my first championship my first national championship I ever won first place was with a rigger that Randy let me borrow. And I liked it so much that he said, "You know what, Bill, you can have it." And it was it was a precious boat to him. He'd won a championship or two with it, and I went up to Washington and beat some pretty some pretty stout dudes with it. And that from that rigger, I started designing my own riggers from his template. And I started, understanding riggers and what they do and why, and I started stretching the chassis out. And then I came up with my own template after it had changed so much. Then I started breaking more records with riggers. Then I started making carbon fiber ones. But yeah, just giving you guys some insight, a little bit of insight. My story and my history with this stuff, it would take a week to tell you guys that. But it's rich and it's full, and anybody that follows me knows that this really is my life. You know what I mean? I really play with these things. I run them around the clock. I don't run them around the clock, but I mess with RC boats around the clock. It's very obvious. Look how much content I make. I make 2 videos a day, every day. And you guys know I don't miss a day. And here I am on a Saturday night hanging out with you guys. Dedication. Dedication. And that is how the West was won. But back to this boat. That's a steering system. Yes, Cyclone, you'll get treated right. Yeah, Fat Tony, simpler the better. You know what I'm saying? Seriously. It's raining in Minnesota. Wow. Hey, Florida outings. Man, I wish I could do something with somebody's mold. We got more molds than we need. But we'd love to see what you do with the mold. That'd be great. Look at that. CNC'd excellence. Aluminum polish to a mirror. I might polish it even more. Yeah, I think that's something I'll do to cheer this boat up. I'll polish that rudder up even more for him. I want this customer to be really, really happy. It's like I said, he was super cool. Yeah, I like that. Simpler the better, man. I don't put a bunch of frilly shit in there, man. You know what I mean? I don't put too much in there. Yeah, I put bright colors of the actual components, but all these extra, I did this and I did that and I rerouted this and all that shit, man. And there's not a ton of extra plates and trays and stuff in here. You know why? Because double-sided tape works extremely well if you use it correctly. If you clean both mated surfaces and they're not ice cold when you adhere them, you can get great adhesion if you use good stuff. And sometimes when everything's trayed down, you know what I mean? Like it makes it hard to access the ESCs when you want to. You got to unbolt it like it's Fort Knox. I'm not into that. And extra weight, race boats don't like extra weight. The less weight, the better. I like to keep it simple. But that steering sure does look trick. Mad Monk, I wish I could strap a squirrel in here, but unfortunately there's the 8-year-old kid in me would love to strap a squirrel in here. But unfortunately that's inhumane and we can't do that. If anything goes in here, it'd be my cat first. Because she ate my lunch. And I didn't appreciate that. She hopped up on the counter and ate my lunch. And I had a talk with her. Explained to her, you know what? I don't do that to you. I don't get down there and eat that bullshit that you have in your bowl there. Why do you want to hop on the counter and eat my lunch? Like, you'd be really offended if I ate that bullshit you eat. No, I didn't offend her when offend what she eats. I like this, man. Look at the black screws. I really hope this customer likes this. Yes, Fat Tony, it is a catch can. Yes, it is. Catch can, puke tank. Yep. You betcha. Steering boots. Wow, you got a 4 foot long mold? That's rad. You're making a 6 foot cat? That rules, man. Hey, Tommy, there he is. What's up, Commander? Oh, there he is. There's my homeboy. What's up, Tommy? Check this thing out, boss. Yep, this thing's a good time. You need to come on out, Tommy. I'm getting some batteries probably next week. I'm not really worth much until I get these new batteries. Things are running, but they're not worth you coming out and having a play day. Well, yeah, come on out, dude. Check out the V8, bro. You know what? You should have been out here to help me to tune that V8. Look, I'm about to take it out apart and check out the crank and put it back together. See if there's any parts needed. Yeah, this high tech servo is super smooth, Tommy. It is, dude. It's strong. It's smooth. It wouldn't fit in my It didn't fit in my animal or my For some reason, it didn't fit in the Dominator either. But I modified this one for it to take it. Yeah, those high tech servo, they are precise as all get up. We might be bringing those in because I was starting that conversation. High tech has been my buddy since the Randy Naylor, Larry Larson, Dick Crow, Doug Twait's days. When RC Boat Modeler, when they were advertising there, and I was a youngster and just wanted to be a big sponsored guy like those guys, and ended up being sponsored by them. Because that's when you could live out your American dream racing RC boats. Nowadays, not so much. The big companies aren't sponsoring people. They're not sponsoring people like that because they would, but all those goofballs on Facebook that are just so negative, fuck it up. Dude, that server looks rad. All that carbon fiber looks sick in there, boss. That is the way. I'm gonna go back under this thing for the guys that didn't get to see that. There we go. Feels like you're right underneath. Oops, let me get a better grip on the phone. Let me get a better handle on this thing. All right. Feels like you're right underneath the offshore powerboat. There we go. Get some light going. Remember to subscribe to our channel, guys. Because I'll spend time with you guys. This stream's been going for 40 minutes already. all up under here. Yeah, gentlemen. Absolutely, high tech has been. Yeah, this one's for a customer. I rarely do anything this nice for myself. Mine are always way too basic. Well, heck, guys, I think I've shown you as much as I can show you in here. But I won't chase you off just yet. I won't chase you off just yet. I'll show you guys a bit more beauty. Look at that thing. Look at that thing. Yeah. Real nice and thick. Great boat. This is a saw boat for that ass. Super thick. Heavy duty layup. Triple thick. 5-ounce cloth. Carbon. Carbon Kev. Then carbon again. Lotto? You know what? That's a great question. I am about to I am about to turn the rampage back on, and I have a few things in mind that I'm going to use with the rampage. First of all, I'm gonna put some stainless props on it. I'm gonna make some stainless for it that are gonna be really nice. I will take another look. We'll revisit the V8. I'll let you guys out of here. Look at all that oil that sopped up. Hell of it. It's probably still dripping too. Took in hell of a byproduct. It took in hell of a byproduct. Yep. That's what's cracking around here at Oxidean Marine. Remember, smash that like button, subscribe to our channel. I'll see you guys again soon. All right, gentlemen. All right, Tommy.